Every athlete and peak performer, whether it's in sales, whether it's public speaking, whether it's in education, whether it's in performance, understands that it's laser beam focus that allows them to get the best desired results. How do you achieve those desired results and how do you achieve that laser beam focus? Let's take a look. Now, this concept originated in ancient Hawaii. When the first Westerners came over to Hawaii, they spoke of the people there and documented it as the people being completely free and deviant of any spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical illnesses. A big part of why I believe that Hawaiians were free of any mental, psychological, physical illnesses is because they carry these teachings with them wherever they went. One of those teachings was Hakalau. It allowed them to get into a state that's calm, centered, and balanced. In fact, the story goes is that you would be able to see a practitioner of the ancient science simply by how pono they are. The pono is a word that the rough translation for it in English would be right. But there's no such a thing as right and wrong. Pono means an unwavering congruency of who it is that you're meant to be and who it is that you are. One of those things that allowed them to stay pono in every situation that they were in is the use of hakala. Now, what is hakala? Haka means focus, or ho'ohaka would be to see. Lao means to spread out. So what you're doing is you're spreading out your vision and creating peripheral vision. What happens when you create peripheral vision and you expand your awareness, it turns on the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows you to be calm, centered, and balanced. When the parasympathetic system is turned on, you reach an alpha state where it's a very nice meditative state where no negative state can enter. You're highly aware, your senses are highly aware. You're able to see 360 degrees around you. And you're able to be calm, centered, and balanced. And that is what allows peak performers, athletes, to achieve the greatest results. Imagine how it would be like if you were, before you're doing a presentation, you're able to stand there, look at everybody, and be completely calm, completely centered, and completely balanced. Imagine how your presentation would go if you had no anxiety, no stress, no fear, and you're able to go there, walk up on the stage, and just get into an optimal peak state by doing hakala. Now, how do you do hakala? It's actually very simple. What you want to do is you want to just pick a spot on the wall, preferably just above eye level, so you're not stressing your eyes out. And as you pick a spot on this wall, first thing you want to do is just do some hot breathing to calm yourself down and open up to the neurology. But to do hot breathing, you just simply breathe in through your nose, filling up your stomach, your gut. And as you breathe out, you just make a slight sound of through your mouth. You do this on a ratio of 1 to 2, meaning that for the length of inhale that you take twice as long of an exhale. Awesome, just like that. So after doing that for about 1 to 2 minutes and just getting yourself settled in, getting the neurology flowing and the energy going, what you also want to do is just get grounded. Make sure that your feet are nicely planted onto the ground and feel as if you're sending roots down into the ground through your feet and pulling up that grounding energy, that strong foundation, that strong solidity right into your feet, and feel it come up and pull that energy right up to about your waist level, right where your root chakra is. And notice that you already might feel extremely calm. You might feel extremely confident. You might notice that there's no anxiety, there's no stress. Everything is clear. And now what you want to do is, as you look at the spot on the wall, just let your focus spread out. And notice that you can start seeing things around the room. Notice that you can start seeing things to your right. You can start seeing things on your left. Start seeing things up above you. Start seeing things down below. And just play around with your vision. You could even get your hands and just start them from the side and just keep putting them sideways to see how far you actually can spread out your vision. And if you need to blink, don't worry, go ahead and blink and just keep that calm, centered focus. And play around with it. You might notice that if you go out too far, you might start to get really dazed out and space out and go bye-bye. This is a very, very powerful meditation, and to be in a peak state and what we also call the learning state, you want to practice that. You just get that right foveal vision where everything is clear, everything is in perfect focus, and you're calm. You want to check in on your breathing. And this is something that you want to practice 24/7. Every time I'm walking around, when I go on a hike, when I go walk around my property, or go to the pond, or I go to the lake, I'm always in Hakala. This allows me to take in more of what's around me. It allows me to feel good. It allows me to feel grounded. That's right, just like that. What's extremely powerful too is that if you feel any anxiety, any negative emotion happening, you simply just have to go into Hakalau, expand your vision, and you will notice that instantly you don't feel that anxiety anymore, you don't feel that stress, and you feel extremely confident, motivated, and laser focused towards your goal. This is something that's extremely powerful in sports, especially. Every athlete understands that they must be aware of everything that is around them. They must be aware of what's behind them, what's to the side of them, and what's in front of them. They must see their teammates 360 degrees all around them. All my hockey clients know that they must be 5 steps ahead of the game. This is what allows them to be 5 steps ahead of the game, because they're able to open up their vision and see everything as if they're sitting up on top of the press box, or they're sitting on a bench and they're looking at the game unfold in front of them. You might notice too that if you close your eyes, that you could also do Hakalau and do the peripheral vision with your eyes closed. You might notice that that's an extremely powerful meditation that you could do, and you could actually expand your peripheral and expand your awareness even with your eyes closed. What's powerful about Hakalau is it's not just a visual practice or a visual technique. Hakalau could also be done auditorily. You might notice that you might start hearing more sounds around you and hearing more things. It could also be done kinesthetically. You might start getting a better feeling for the space around you. You know, it's kind of like those kung fu movies where they see everything around them and they know when someone's coming up behind them. Hakalau gives you that clarity, that perception of the world around you, and you're able to get a 360-degree feeling for everything around you. It is also an amazing tool to help you remember things and memorize, because memory is held in the unconscious mind. When you expand your peripheral, you're activating the alpha state, which is sending suggestions and everything that you take in, all the information, straight to your unconscious mind for you to be able to access it easily and effortlessly, just like that. And all you simply have to do is just get back into the same state again. Once you get back into Hakalau, everything just flows right through you, easily and effortlessly. So next time you're studying for a test, next time you're learning something new, Just get into Hakulau. You'll be more relaxed. And there's many studies that show that if you're relaxed, you're able to take in information at a deeper level. This is one of the most powerful techniques, and it's something that I carried with me everywhere that I went, and it's truly the most important thing that I've ever learned in all my teachings in Hawaii, and that is Hakulau. It is something that I apply to my life every single day. When people ask me, how do you apply Huna to your everyday life? My first answer is Hakulau. I'm always in Hakulau. I'm always able to see what is around me. I'm always able to take in the world at a deeper level. And I'm always able to be calm, centered, and balanced and feel really good. And if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, because I'm going to be putting out more tools and techniques of how you can live a more empowered, purposeful, and spiritual life. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.